The moment Ethan Cole stepped into the small daytime cafe flooded with sunlight, he felt the familiar tightening in his chest, the kind that came when hope wrestled with fear. As a single father, hope had betrayed him before. He had learned to keep his expectations low, especially when it came to blind dates arranged by well-meaning friends who thought loneliness could be fixed like a broken appliance. Still, he adjusted his worn jacket, glanced at the clock glowing above the counter, and reminded himself that he was doing this not just for himself, but for his daughter who deserved to see her father try again. What Ethan did not know was that this single afternoon would quietly turn his entire life upside down. Before the story unfolds any further, take a moment to pause. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet miracles that can happen in ordinary daylight moments, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Grandma's Book. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Ethan's life had narrowed into careful routines after his wife passed away 3 years earlier. Mornings were rushed but gentle, filled with packing lunches and brushing hair. Afternoons were spent juggling work and school pickups, and evenings were quiet, sometimes painfully so. Love, for him, had become something fragile, like glass left on the edge of a table. He came to the blind date with no real expectations, assuming at worst it would be awkward and at best it would be forgettable. When he saw Maura Bennett approach, dressed simply, posture straight like someone used to discipline, he noticed the tired strength in her eyes before anything else. Maura carried herself with the calm intensity of someone who had seen both chaos and order up close. A soldier and a mother, her life had been shaped by deployments, responsibility, and long days under open skies. She had 5 children waiting for her back home, each one a piece of her heart forged through sacrifice. Ethan learned quickly, through her gentle presence and the weight of her silence, that she was not someone who took chances lightly. As the afternoon light shifted across the cafe walls, Maura shared that she was raising 5 kids alone after losing her partner during active service. The number landed heavily on Ethan's heart. 5 kids. His mind stalled, his optimism faltered, and for a fleeting moment he thought she must be joking, as if the universe had pushed him into a test he was not ready to take. Ethan's greatest challenge was not Maura or her children. It was the quiet voice inside him whispering that he was already stretched thin, that love came with risks he could not afford. He struggled with guilt for even considering stepping back, knowing too well how abandonment felt. As a single dad, he had once prayed for someone who would understand his exhaustion and his devotion. Now that such a person sat across from him in the bright, ordinary light of day, fear tried to convince him to retreat. The idea of blending 2 wounded families felt overwhelming, like standing at the base of a mountain with no clear path upward. Yet something began to change, slowly and unexpectedly. Over the following days, Ethan found himself thinking about Maura's steadiness, the way she spoke about her children not as burdens but as blessings earned through sacrifice. He imagined his daughter laughing alongside hers, sharing toys and sunlight and scraped knees. When he finally visited Maura's home during a warm afternoon, he witnessed a kind of beautiful chaos he had not expected. 5 children moved around with noisy life and fierce affection, and Maura stood at the center, calm and grounded, like an anchor in shallow water. Instead of fear, Ethan felt a strange sense of belonging. The struggle did not vanish overnight. There were moments when Ethan doubted himself deeply, wondering if love was asking too much of him again. There were logistical hurdles, emotional scars, and the ever-present fear of failing more than one child if things fell apart. But daylight has a way of revealing truth gently. In shared lunches, school pickups, and quiet afternoons spent fixing broken toys, Ethan realized that love did not demand perfection. It asked only for presence. Maura's children did not see him as an intruder, they saw him as someone who showed up. Maura, too, faced her own doubts. Years of relying only on herself had taught her independence, but also loneliness. Allowing someone else into her carefully managed world felt like lowering a shield she had carried for too long. Yet she saw in Ethan a man who understood loss without being consumed by it. Together, in the open honesty of daytime conversations and shared responsibilities, they began to build something real, something resilient. Just before we reach the ending, take a moment and comment below with a heart or a simple word of hope if you believe families can be built in unexpected ways. The true turning point came one quiet afternoon when Ethan watched all 6 children playing together under the sun, their laughter echoing through the yard. In that moment, he understood that love was not about replacing what was lost, but about expanding what remained. He was no longer afraid of the number 5. He was grateful for it. The realization did not arrive with fireworks or dramatic declarations, but with peace, the kind that settles in your chest when something finally feels right.